Welcome to the Glazov Gang, and tonight, the best Glazov Gang ever. Our three titans this evening. Monty Morton, a conservative entrepreneur. Mell Flynn, the president of the Hollywood Congress of Republicans. And back by popular demand, the one and only Chen, the author of One in a Billion and a basketball star from China. Am I correct?
Correct. In the 1970s.
Excellent.
All right.
And we're going to talk about that. We have two new Glazov Gang members,
Yep.
Monty Morton and Mell Flynn. Welcome to the Glazov Gang.
Thank you.
Good to be
Thank you,
here.
Jamie.
Thank you.
So before we move on to the events of the week, we've got some in-house matters here. First, we're going to discuss with Mell.
Yeah.
Tell our viewers a little bit about the fact that you're not just Republican, you're a survivor of Hollywood, but you're also an actress. Can you give our viewers about a minute?
Yeah, I am the president of the Hollywood Congress of Republicans. As you said, we are a grassroots organization. We're made up primarily of people in the entertainment industry. We have actors, directors, writers, craft service people, wardrobe, you name it, we have it. And yes, we are the minority in Hollywood, that's for sure. A lot of people keep very low-key because they don't want to be found out, because there is a certain amount of prejudice against conservatives in Hollywood.
And tell us a little bit about your career in Hollywood.
I am an actress. I've been doing it a long time. I'm originally from Chicago, and I've been working steadily for 20-some-odd years now, and I also do casting, and I also do some producing.
Fantastic. And did it hurt you at all to be out of the closet as a conservative?
Well, I don't try to be out of the closet, but I'm one of those people, if you do Google, and some folks do that now, they'll Google you to see who you are. If they want to hire you for something, you will find out a lot about me. Not only acting, but that I am a Republican. So I'm kind of out of the closet, even though if I don't want to be.
And now, especially that you're on the Glazov Gang, everybody
That's
will
right,
know,
I'm through
right?
now.
Now, Monty, we have a personal
Yes.
angle here because my great uncle, and when I say great, I mean that he's a great man, Uncle Marek from Florida recommended you to be on the Glazov Gang. So I'm taking Uncle Marek's advice. What do you think of this?
Well, I think, first of all, your Uncle Marek had seen some of my writings, and I think perhaps I was lucky enough to impress him, so he forwarded them on to you. You and I spoke, and you had invited me on, and I'm glad to be here.
Fantastic. My Uncle Marek and my Auntie Lena are the presidents of the Florida chapter of the Glazov Gang. Let's show a picture of them. This is my Uncle Marek and my lovely Auntie Lena, and we had a meeting about the Glazov Gang in that picture. And I'm just curious, I have my own views on my uncle and auntie. What do you guys think about this picture? Because some people think my uncle looks like a great intellectual, but other people think he has a little bit of a mafiosa kind of aura. What do you guys think?
No, look, I think that's a handsome couple. Your uncle looks like a kind gentleman. He's a handsome guy. Your aunt's beautiful.
Okay.
And really what really concerns me, or really what puzzles me, is how the genetics in your family skipped over you.
So, Mel, what did you think of the picture?
Good looking.
I don't know if that got a laugh, but
It hurt my feelings a little bit, but my producer and director of photography loved it. Mel, what do you think?
I think your aunt's beautiful, and I can see what you're saying about your uncle. He looks like a smart, well-groomed man, but he looks like he'd have a little bit of an edge.
Yeah. You don't want to get on his bad side. That's why I take his advice and invite the people that he wants on the show. Kai, what do you think of my uncle and auntie?
Very good. Very healthy now, because America.
Absolutely. And my producer, Annie, what did you think about my uncle? That he's very nice. And overall, I was looking at his picture again, and I think that Uncle Marek in some ways looks saintly, almost like an angel. Did any of you catch that? That he could have been a Catholic priest, maybe?
I think America does a lot of good to him.
Okay.
actually, he has a very kind face.
He has a very
Seriously,
kind face?
He has a very kind face.
That's this week's episode of the Glazov Gang. Join us next week. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the self-indulgence of the Glazov family. And now we will move on to the serious issues of our time. However, I would like to, on a serious note, thank my uncle because I have a feeling that his advice to have you on is a great idea.
Thank you.
Our viewers are going to find out in a minute that you are an ObamaCare expert, and we're going to get to your views. And so why don't we begin with that, ladies and gentlemen? I think we'll call it the ObamaCare meltdown. We've got a website that's not working. Now it turns out that the president at one time was saying you can keep your own insurance policy. Now it turns out that you can't. He's playing some word games and mental gymnastics explaining it, but I think it would be fair to say that he lied. But let's start at the beginning. Monty, your angle on this?
My angle on this, Jamie, is very, very simple. First of all, we can go back and spend a lot of time on the various things that Obama said, which basically have turned out to be lies. He said you can keep your doctors. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. It's going to save $2,500, and it's not going to add a dime to the deficit. When I think about those things that he said, it almost reminds me of a famous Mort Saul quote back in the 60s. And the quote was something like, it was a quote about presidents, and it was, remember George Washington, who never told a lie. We remember Richard Nixon, who never told the truth. And now we have Barack Obama, who doesn't know the difference.
Excellent, excellent.
Anyway, moving on. The thing that at first I was absolutely struck by was the disaster with respect to the rollout. And I came to the conclusion, or the initial conclusion, that Obamacare was basically failing ahead of schedule. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. Maybe it's not really failing ahead of schedule. Maybe this was the ostensible purpose for it to fail. To push everybody into a single-payer system.
Yeah, there is that theory that it was meant to
Right.
fail, and then you just get everybody into single-payer, right?
Right. But the real problems with Obamacare really fall into a number of categories. Number one has to do with all the structural issues. And the first one is, according to the administration, we're supposed to get 7 million people to sign up for Obamacare the first year. And of those 7 million people, about 2.5 million have to be young people. And incorporated into Obamacare is a concept which neither the administration was aware of, which absolutely floored me, and which is probably going to cause Obamacare to go from what was budgeted at 800 or 900 billion to now the CBO is saying 1.8 trillion, and ultimately end up at 3 trillion. And that is the concept of adverse selection. And here's what adverse selection does. In order for Obamacare to even make any sense, we have to enroll about 2.5 million young people who are healthy. That's number one. Well, question. If you look at the Heritage Foundation and the report they came out with, and you look at the states that have their own exchange and the states that are under a federal exchange, with the exception of 5 states, there's only 5 states where the premiums have come in cheaper. The premiums for the single people go from a low of 7% to as high as a 250% increase in Virginia.
Okay, Monty, I'm sure you have another hour of wisdom to give us on this. I want to move on to our other guests. However, what would be your 1 or 2 sentence conclusion on what you just said? What's the conclusion?
It's a disaster.
Why?
It's an abject disaster because here's what's going to happen. Ultimately, Obamacare is going to cost a lot more. Number 2, the young people aren't going to enroll. What they're going to do is they're going to pay a $95 fine, $95 per year fine, wait until they're sick. In California, when you talk about access, the physicians that are now in the network are about 37% of the physicians that were pre-Obama.
Okay, Monty, does Obama and his team know what you know?
You know, it would be absolutely
I mean, are they
arrogant on my part to say no. How they could not know is beyond me.
So if they know that it's a disaster, then we can get into what the motives are. But you see what I'm
That's
asking,
fair.
right?
That's
if it's
fair.
a catastrophe,
Right.
why don't people
Why
see
are we
what
pursuing
you see?
it?
Mel?
Yeah. A lot, of course, what Monty said. And to just go on from there, a lot of people are losing work because of it. People in healthcare field, so they're losing work, so that's not good. People are not hiring full-time anymore. They're hiring a lot of part-time because they don't want to have to be obligated to pay for the, Affordable Care Act. It is a disaster. There's no doubt about it. The thing with the fine, though, it's not. If it's that low to start with, it's not going to stay that low.
That's
and it's
correct.
going to go up very high. And then if you don't pay that fine, the IRS will be after you forever. You're going to get fines on top of fines.
So you
and they
have
will
to
put
join.
liens on your house. They will do, whatever it takes to get their money.
So you have to join Obamacare.
You're going to have to join.
Or you are fined.
Yeah.
How, Mel, how do you do this in a free country? How do you do this?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, the IRS, they will go after you. They'll find ways to get your money,
So what happens to the poor people that don't want to join and don't have any money?
They're through.
So in some ways, it's also a war on the poor.
Oh, absolutely.
Although they pretend that it's on behalf of the poor.
Exactly. It's gonna just ruin a lot of people because people cannot pay the amounts that they're going to be paying. The deductibles are going through the roof. A lot of people have lost their insurance completely. So yeah, it is a financial disaster for most everybody.
Kai, as somebody that is from a communist country and whose family and yourself have suffered under communist persecution and knows the evil of communism and the economic bankruptcy of communism, how do you bring your perspective watching this attempt at socialism in America?
Sometimes I just feel like, America almost need people like me to educate them what America is about. Otherwise, they forgot. Then the danger is deeper than this. It's the mentality change. See, because in China, you have the single payer, okay? Whatever. Then I thought about the Cultural Revolution. You heard about the barefoot doctors, right? Barefoot doctors, the Mao sent to the countryside to cure the peasants. But they have no training. They just give them a book. Then they start operating on people. But the thing is, if you read about this, is that the peasants rather let these people have no training to operate on them than none at all. That is deeper philosophical issue on the single payer and the capitalist system. In the capitalist system, people expect tomorrow is better. We are striving for better tomorrow, for a future. But if you go into a socialist system, people will compare their present with worse future. That means they choose between bad and worse, or worse and the worst. So when you get into that kind of mentality, the whole country changes because people have no hope anymore.
Yeah.
And you see that happening in the United States.
Oh, yeah.
That's the road we're going
That's
down.
what I'm so afraid.
So what you're saying is the expectation for medical care in the socialist countries, the bar just plummets way down.
Oh yeah, because right now in China, if you don't give those red packets, that means bribes to the doctors, you're not going to get any attention because the doctor will compare, the patients has government connections or not, or the patients give more money to me or not, in order to operate.
Okay.
Although I think the far left liberal in the United States certainly doesn't have the knowledge or experience that you have relative to socialized medicine in China. I think they're more cognizant and they do more comparisons with Canada, with Great Britain. That's kind of they go after the European model of socialized medicine.
Okay, Mel?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's, along with everything else, there's fraud going on. Like you said, underhandedness is going on. I mean, that's happening now with people that are signing up online, and then they're going to fake websites, and then people are calling them, getting phone calls saying, you did not fill out, the form properly online, so we have to redo it again. Can I get your social security number? So, I mean, there's already fraud going on, so it is a mess.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first segment has come to an end. I need you to become prophets and prophetesses for me. How is this going to play out, Monty?
Up until a couple days ago, I was of the opinion that ultimately Obamacare was going to implode, and the Democrats and the Republicans are going to have to find some way to work together. I'm not so sure of that now. It almost sounds paranoid to think that the real agenda was for it to fail and slowly and incrementally move everyone to a single-payer system.
Okay, Mel, is that conspiracy-minded, paranoid-minded, or is it possible?
No, it's certainly possible, but yeah, I mean, that could be. All I have to say, if we don't turn this around soon and really try to get rid of it, people think, oh, yeah, let it fail for, years or whatever. Once something gets implemented, you can't get rid of it. You can't reverse it. So we have to do it now, get rid of Obamacare, nip it in the bud, and that is the only way we could possibly move on.
Are they going to fix the website, and is it going to work?
Who knows? Who knows?
Kai, you are a great prophet.
Oh yeah, if we can repeal bad laws such as prohibition, we can repeal Obama as well, right? But it takes time.
Well, what's going to happen?
It takes time. More government, more corruption, and less the individual responsibility. In China, it's the same thing. If you get more government involved in anything, that means bribery, and that means less individual virtue. That's the whole corruption of the society happening right in front of your eyes.
Thank you very much. The first segment has come to an end. We'll be back in just a minute with our second segment, where we'll discuss how this will all impact the 2014 elections, what our debt means, and Sean Penn telling Piers Morgan that Ted Cruz and the Tea Party should be institutionalized in a mental asylum. We'll be right back.